Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Bob Milligan. Today, I would like to visit with you about something that I feel very strongly about. As I've worked with my clients, as I've read, as I've written, I have a very strong feeling that today is likely the greatest opportunity for leadership in your lifetime. Now, in order to capitalize on that, we're really going to have to understand modern motivation and leadership. And to begin the discussion of that, I want to talk a little about history. I live in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, here in Minnesota. In the late 18th century, Minnesota was a great wheat growing area. In fact, Minneapolis is called the Mill City because that's where the wheat was milled into flour. Now, over time, that has changed. Today, Minnesota grows corn and soybeans. So today, we can think of wheat as a suboptimal crop. Times have changed. It's not the optimal crop in Minneapolis and St. Paul anymore, or in Minnesota anymore. When we think about our brain and have learned more about our brain, we've understood that much of what we've done in understanding motivation and in leadership really was suboptimal. Okay, it was like that growing wheat in Minnesota today, not like growing wheat in Minnesota in the 18th century. If we think about motivation, motivation is energy to act. Now, basically for the time that we've been studying motivation and teaching motivation, the prevailing thinking has been characterized by carrots and sticks. We externally provide incentives and reprimands when that doesn't work to create motivation. We know today that that type of motivation, like the wheat, is suboptimal. It's like giving somebody a candy bar. Okay, it gives a burst of energy, but doesn't last long. You have to keep giving that burst of energy. What we know today is that optimal motivation comes from choice, connection, and competence. That's much more like giving a person a steak. Okay, that provides energy for the long haul. So what are these things? Choice. They're psychological feelings that we have choices. It's a perception we are in control of our actions. This is true of ourselves, it's true of our employees, it's true of our family. The second of the three C's is connection, sometimes referred to as relatedness. It's genuine, authentic relationships. Also, it's contributing to a noble purpose. This is where the vision thing comes in. And the third C is competence. We feel we're successful at meeting daily situations and challenges. It also is a feeling of personal growth and learning. So when we have psychological feelings of choice, connection, and competence, we are going to be much more motivated. Now, if we turn to leadership, how do we create or how do we help people attain choice, connection, and leadership? And competence, I'm sorry. To do that, we need to think of a much more modern view of leadership. Again, traditionally, leadership has focused primarily on formal power, based on the position of the leader, manager, or supervisor. I'm your boss, I'm in charge. Today we know that although we need to do some of that, we need to focus much more on informal forms of leadership. Influence, connection, reward, personal connections, information and expert power. This is the way we're going to succeed and the way we're going to create motivation. We can't tell someone to be motivated. We can create a connection and a culture where they will in fact choose to be motivated. So leadership today is about reducing our reliance on formal power. Because when we use formal power, people follow us because they have to. and increase our use of informal forms of influence and of leadership. When we do that, the goal is to have people follow us and work as a part of our team because they want to. So how do we do that? How do we use our leadership to increase choice, connection, and competence? Let's look at 8 ways. And these are the things you need to do in today's incredible time with the pandemic. We are all uncertain. We are all struggling with that connection. You have the opportunity today to create connection, choice, and competence. And so you create a team that together we get through this. If you can do that, you will have loyal employees that many of whom, or most of whom, will want to be with you for a long, long time. First things, be visible. Obviously, socially disciplined to do that, but we need to be seen. We need to be out there. That's part of the connection. Listen. Listening is so critical to connection. Provide positive feedback. Show appreciation. Thank you. 2 wonderful words. Ask for input. This gives people a feeling of choice, a feeling they're involved. Ask for input. Involve people in planning and decision making. Make them feel a part of the team. That's part of the connection. Be clear. I call it chalk the field or chalking the field. People need clarity. In a time of uncertainty, the more clarity you can provide, the better, the more choice, connection, and competence you will create, and the more loyal your employees will be. I think you need to consider some form of consistent communication. I have a couple of clients now who are sending out a weekly email. Makes people feel a part of something. That's the connection. It also gives them an opportunity to learn more and continue to grow. Okay, that's part of competence. Address conflicts, but do it with care and empathy. Listen, help people through this terribly difficult time. And maybe most importantly, be more of a leader and a friend. Use your informal powers and less of a boss using your formal powers. As I've said, I truly believe today is likely the greatest opportunity for leadership you will have in your lifetime. But to be successful in that, you can't rely on the old ideas of carrots and sticks and formal power. You have to understand and use modern motivation and leadership, informal powers, choice, connection, and competence.